Y'all, look. I hit 100,000 subscribers. Oh my gosh, I actually hit it on Saturday while I was doing my workout. I am legit finishing my workout in my half-finished garage. It doesn't have a roof or doors. And I just saw that I rolled over to 100,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. Like this is exciting. Hey, howdy, hey. If you are new here, I'm Jessica Stansberry and I am pumped that you are here. Oh my gosh, guys, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. Now my next step is to figure out how in the world I actually get my silver play button so I can put it up behind me here and be all fancy, which I don't think is that hard. I think I have to wait on an email, and if I don't get an email, then I have to email them and be like, hey, you didn't give me an email, and then I can get my silver play button. You know, it's funny because when I first started here on YouTube, I never even thought that I wanted to hit 100,000 subscribers, nor that I ever would. And I know that sounds insane, but I didn't start on YouTube as a YouTuber. I started on YouTube to use YouTube to grow my business. And so I never really had these like big number goals other than like 100 to get my custom URL or 1,000 to be able to be monetized. But other than that, I never really had these big number goals. In the last few years that changed, but before that, I just never saw YouTube as like the business. I saw it as a piece of my business, if that makes sense. So I was thinking back through my journey here on YouTube and like what that looked like. And I thought it'd be fun to share with you what it looked like for me to go from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, what the process looked like, how long it took me, all of that good stuff. But then also talk about how maybe you could do it quicker than I did. Because I definitely think there were some things I could have done better. And I also think that there were some things that I just didn't know that I can absolutely share with you. So yeah, that's really what we're doing in this video. Oh, by the way, when I flipped the camera around to show you guys the 100,000, you can apply to be verified on YouTube once you have 100,000 subscribers. And I applied like the day I hit it, and I'm already verified. So that was easy. So I started on YouTube. I went and looked at all of like my first videos and stuff. And I uploaded my very first video, which was a video about how to make an interactive Gmail signature. It did not have my face. I just showed my screen. My very first video on March 24th of 2016. So that's been about a little over 4.5 years ago, which is bananas. But at that point, I didn't have any intention to even be on YouTube even for my business. I just was like, oh, I'm writing a blog post about this and a video would do really well to show them what I mean because it's kind of complicated what I want them to do. And so that kind of continued for several videos. And then finally I was like, no, I'm gonna make an actual video, show my face, say hi to the camera, like do the things, and then I'll put that into a blog post and that's what I'll do. And so I totaled it up. I made about 18 videos in that whole first year. So in 2016, I only made about 18 videos. And you know, to do the math, if you're doing one video a week, which is kind of like the bare minimum here on YouTube, right? If you're doing one video a week in that 9-month period from March to the end of 2016, theoretically, I should have done 36 videos, but I only did about half of that. So that was like that first like 9 months or so of being on YouTube. And honestly, that continued until the summer of 2017. And then what happened was that I went on YouTube to maybe upload a video or just maybe look at my channel. I don't remember why I went into YouTube, but I looked at my analytics. And I think it might've been like the first time I actually looked at my analytics, even though I'd been putting up videos for like 1.5 years at that point. But again, YouTube was not like a serious thing for me. And so I looked at my analytics and I had this one video. It was called How to Create and Sell Digital Products. And for my small channel, which at the time had less than 500 subscribers, for my small channel, it had a ton of views. I was like, oh my gosh, like 15,000 people have watched this video. That's insane. And I think I kind of had this like light bulb moment that was like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I didn't even promote that video and it did that well. And you know, the only reason I even put it on YouTube was to have a video to go with my blog post. And so maybe I should take this a little more seriously. And I went down a rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole is what brought me here, basically. Went down a rabbit hole of learning all I could about YouTube and how it works and how you get subscribers and the algorithm and whatever else, because at that point I didn't know anything. And that was in the summer of 2017. And I remember when it was and how many subscribers I had, because at the time I had a Facebook group that had probably 3,000 people in it. And I had curated and created this Facebook group for about a year at that point, and I had like 3,000 people in here. It was a really highly engaged Facebook group. And I remember when I looked at that and kind of had my light bulb moment, I went back and I was like, oh my gosh, I have like 490 subscribers or 450. I don't remember the exact number now, but it was more than 400, less than 500. And I went into that Facebook group and I was like, hey, can you guys bump me over 500 subscribers? And the loyal, awesome friends that they were, they did. And that was the end of June in 2017. Remember, a minute ago I said I went down a rabbit hole, and one of those rabbit holes was learning from people like Tim Schmoyer and Sean Cannell and all of these awesome YouTube teachers. And this was in June, and in August, Tim Schmoyer started promoting an in-person intensive he was doing specifically for smaller creators and, you know, how to get their channel to grow. And I was like, I have to go to this. I'm a big believer in investing in your business. I'm a big believer in building relationships. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna go to this. And I did. I applied and I went, and it was amazing. And that was in either late September or early October of 2017. And at that point, from June to either late September or early October, so like 2-ish months, I went from 500 subscribers to about 1,700 subscribers organically before I went to that event, which meant that I was on to something, right? Like I was on to figuring out like what worked for me and all the things that it still was like small potatoes to a lot of the other people at the event with me, you know? But that event was life-changing and game-changing, and I came out just rejuvenated and re-energized for what I wanted my channel to be and what I needed to do, and have just continued on that path ever since. So almost exactly a year later, in like late summer, early fall of 2018, I hit 30,000 subscribers, and I remember thinking that was such a big deal because, y'all, I don't even have 30,000 people in my whole county. So, I mean, I was like, man, more people than my whole county subscribed to me on YouTube. It was a little crazy. And from that point to now has been a little over 2-ish years that I went from 30,000 to 100,000 subscribers. Look, there's one of my ones from me trying to take pictures with the like, you know, the stereotypical balloons, but it didn't work super well. Actually, you know what? Why don't I tape them all up right there? And you'll be able to see them in my video and it'll be all pretty and stuff. Okay, that's better. I totally would have put my K up there because I had 100K, but I popped it the second after I got them home. So we're gonna go with 100. As creators, as content creators, as entrepreneurs, as people who are doing the things, sometimes it's really hard to celebrate ourselves and celebrate our milestones and celebrate our awesomeness, right? So like, oh, I just had my first big sponsorship deal. That's a big deal. Or I just had my first successful launch of my product. That's a big deal. Or I just hit 100,000 subscribers. That's a big deal. And I really do think we have a hard time celebrating sometimes. And so like a week before I hit 100K, when I had the thought that like, oh my gosh, I'm about to hit 100,000 subscribers, I thought, how can I celebrate? Like, how can I celebrate this? And immediately my brain kind of shifted from how can I celebrate to why didn't I hit it faster? And I think that that happens all the time. Like we're like, oh yay, 100,000 subscribers. But so-and-so hit it way quicker than I did. And so I'm a loser and all the things. And you know, that's not at all the case. So in order to kind of refocus myself and say, no, this is something you're gonna celebrate. Dang it, Jessica, you're gonna celebrate this. I started doing a little bit of loose research, and I say loose research because I really did not spend much time looking into the numbers and the stats and figuring things out. And from what I could tell, based on the number of active YouTube channels there are, and based on the number of channels at 100,000 subscribers or above, it was about 5%. And I thought, dang it, I mean, that's friggin' amazing, you know, to like do something that only 5% of the creators on this platform have done or will ever do. That's bananas. And so I posted on Instagram and I was like, here's this fun reel showing like the behind the scenes of baby Jessica on YouTube back in 2016. And here's me hitting 100,000 subscribers. And someone commented and was like, no, you know, it's actually way less than 5%. It's like 1 point something percent. And she gave me some stats and figures and some people who had figured that out. And I was like, okay, well, that's even better, right? Anyway, my kind of point of this like tangent is that we don't celebrate enough. We don't celebrate ourselves enough. And hitting 100,000 subscribers is a big deal because not that many people ever do it, and not that many people ever will do it because so many people fall off and so many people stop being consistent and so many people give up before they get there. It's taken me a solid 3+ years since I said, I'm doing this thing to get to this milestone. And I have watched people who have come up behind me and started channels last year who hit this in their first 6 months. And so it can be really hard to like think, oh my gosh, I'm so amazing and this was awesome and I should celebrate it when we compare ourselves to other people. But it really is a big deal. And if you're someone who's starting out on YouTube, if you're brand new to the tubes and you're like, I need motivation / I need for someone to tell me that I will eventually get there, you will eventually get there. I've done a whole video on kind of the tech I used to use all the way up to the tech I use now, like what camera I'm filming on, what mic I use, what I used to use back when I first started. And so I'll link that below in the description, but I have just grown and grown and grown and grown. So, okay, you know, I'm actually going to be consistent. I'm actually going to continuously put videos on this platform. Okay, then, you know, maybe it's time that I spend a little money and I upgrade this, or maybe it's time and I spend a little more money and I upgrade that. And it has really helped, and you can really tell through the years that my quality has gotten better. But also I like legit started on my iPhone, and the new phones that we have in our pockets, which this is the XS and I'm getting my 12 Pro Max very soon. But the new phones we have in our pockets are so good for video. And so if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a fancy camera and all the things, then I promise you don't need it. I have, you know, through my journey from 0 to 100,000, I have literally used my phone. I have used pocket cameras. I have used a couple of DSLRs, one that was not good at video and I didn't know that. And another one was really good at video, but now that I use a mirrorless option, this is even better. So you just kind of step it up and upgrade as you go. And so my journey on YouTube has absolutely been like this. Like, I started here and I gradually grew and grew and grew and grew. I definitely have not had the spikes and the peaks that a lot of people have. But thankfully too, I've also not done this. So it's, you know, it's powerful and we need to celebrate it. And I'm excited that I hit 100K. And for those of you that follow me on Instagram and congratulated me here on YouTube, thank you so very much. I'm so glad that you're here. I love creating YouTube videos and I have a lot of big plans. You'll just have to wait and see because I have some big announcements. I don't even know how to express to you how big these things I have coming are, but they're good and they're all going to be awesome for you as well. When I was sitting down to put this video in ClickUp, which, by the way, ClickUp is an amazing project management tool. It is where I manage all my videos. I have shown the whole process. I will link that below. I will also link ClickUp below. If you use my link, you get like 30% off or something if you go for the paid plan, or you can get it for free. But shameless plug because it's an awesome system. But as I was putting this video idea in ClickUp, I wrote my journey from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. Like I want to talk about kind of how I did that, how slow it went, how fast it went, blah, blah, blah. But how can I make that valuable to you? And I do think that it is valuable to hear other people's stories. So I think the journey from 0 to 100,000 is a valuable story anyway, but I really wanted to like make it even more valuable to you and kind of give you some tips and tricks on what I could have done differently to hit 100K quicker, but also some things that I just didn't know until later in my YouTube journey that if I would have known earlier would have helped a ton. So if you want to fast track your growth to 100,000 subscribers, if you want to fast track your growth to 100 subscribers or 10,000 or 1,000 or 500 or like whatever that number is, these tips will work for you. And I want to reiterate that everybody grows at their own pace. And I also want to say that different industries grow quicker than others. Because I'm in this like entrepreneurship industry, it's not as fast growing in general as some other industries are. Now, that doesn't discount the fact that I could have grown quicker. I absolutely could have, but there are definitely niches that can grow faster than the one I'm in, and that's okay, you know? But just know that it takes everybody their own amount of time to get to all of their milestones, and you should not compare yourself to anybody's on the internet. So the first thing I would tell you is to become a master at SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization, and essentially it is just, you know, optimizing your content in a way that the search engine that you're placing it on can find it when people are searching for it. So, you know, if I'm creating a video all about how to grow faster on YouTube, then if somebody types in how to grow faster on YouTube, then I need to know what I'm doing on the back end to make sure that YouTube is picking my video from the list of videos it has to show to that person. So becoming a master at SEO is really, really important here on YouTube, particularly in any kind of educational or review or tech, or really a lot of niches need SEO behind them to like drive them and fuel them. You know, if you're doing vlog channels and things like that, you can utilize SEO in, you know, some different ways. Like if you're doing a vlog and you're traveling to get your Christmas tree or whatever, like here we have, what are those called? Choose and cut Christmas tree lots. Fun fact, where I live is the #1 county for growing Christmas trees in the entire United States. So we have 27,000 people and we have like around that same amount of cows, but we have hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million or more, Christmas trees. Fun fact for you today. Let's say though, you're coming up here, you're a vlogger, you're coming to get your Christmas tree and you're vlogging that. And normally like my day picking out a Christmas tree is, you know, kind of what a vlogger would go for. But something like choose and cut Christmas tree might be better for search. And so there's ways to utilize this regardless of what industry you're in or what niche you're in. But honestly, becoming a master at SEO will get you growth quicker than probably a lot of other things you can do on the platform. Another thing is to collaborate and build relationships. Whew, this is a loaded one, but the real truth here is that anytime you can pair up with another creator or partner yourself with another creator in any way, it's going to help the growth of your channel because their viewers are now going to see you, whether they had a big channel or a small channel, it doesn't matter. And it really is just a great way to kind of collaborate and move together up to the top. So collaborations and building relationships is key. Anytime I talk about collaborations, I get the question, but how do I ask people to collaborate? And my biggest answer to that, and the answer I will probably always give, is you don't just come out and ask people to collaborate. You build relationships first with other creators on the platform, and then it becomes a friendship, and then the collaborations just happen. Okay, this third one is like a mix of two, but I felt like they were so alike that I could put them in one bullet point here. If you are like, oh, I want to grow quicker than Jessica did on the YouTubes, then one, if you are just starting out, I want you to throw spaghetti at the wall. I want you to be okay with not really knowing what niche your channel is going to be in, unless you're totally set on something, which is totally fine. And for me, I was set on something because I was growing a business from this channel. It wasn't like I was just starting the channel for no reason. Essentially though, if you don't have a niche picked out yet, I would highly suggest to pick 3 or 4, and when you're in the beginning stages of your channel, throw spaghetti at the wall. See what YouTube needs more of, because if it needs more of a piece of content, and even though you're a small channel, it will pick it up. See what people like the most. See where you're getting the most views. See the type of content that you enjoy creating the most. Throw spaghetti at the wall. Figure it out when you're small. Figure it out when there's not hardly anybody watching. And then niche like there's no tomorrow. Oh, I've done a couple of videos about niching. So here's one. I will pop the link below and have it popping across the screen. But essentially, niching is kind of the superpower that nobody knows they need until they know they need it. Does that make sense? There are so many benefits to niching, but in a nutshell, they are essentially that YouTube then knows what your ideal viewer looks like. So if you are always throwing spaghetti at the wall, if you are creating content that's kind of all over the board, then YouTube doesn't know how to show your content to the right people. If you have one video about traveling and one video about cooking and one video about this, then YouTube is going to be really confused on who needs to see your videos. Whereas if you're only talking about cooking, then YouTube is going to know specifically who to show those videos to. Not only are you going to grow faster when you niche because YouTube is going to know who to show you to, but the viewer is going to know that they should subscribe. You know, so for instance, I actually found a channel the other day, kind of down a rabbit hole. I don't even know how I found it, but essentially I found this channel, and I believe the first video I watched was about setting up their YouTube studio, I think. But nonetheless, once I watched that video, I was like, oh, I really like this person. I'm gonna go find them on, I'm gonna go click on their channel. But all of their other videos were about photography. And I love photography. You guys have heard me talk about that. I actually really love photography, but it's not really what I was interested in right that second. I was interested in their YouTube filming setup, what kind of camera they use, like all of the things that kind of went into that. And so they got me in with a piece of content, but when I saw their channel, they lost me. So we don't want to constantly be throwing spaghetti at the wall, because we want people to feel like they're in the right place when they find your channel based on what they need. This is how people like Peter McKinnon blew up on YouTube, because he was all in on the photography situation right in the beginning, and he was just very like, this is how you do this and this is how you do that, and he was awesome. And then that's also how people like Nick Nimmin blew up, because he was all about the YouTube strategy and he wanted to teach you all the things. And he wasn't also then putting up videos about, how to shoot the best basketball. Is that a thing? How to shoot the best basketball? How to hit all your basketball goals? I don't know. But nonetheless, niching is powerful, and if you can, the quicker you can niche in, the quicker you can plant that flag, the better off you're gonna be when it comes to growth. The fourth thing that I wanna talk about, and this one is real dang important, okay? It is to be consistent. So when I started on YouTube, like I said, I was not consistent that whole first year, maybe even year and a half. I just didn't, this wasn't a focus. I didn't even know I could grow on YouTube. I didn't understand the back end of it. And so it wasn't a focus. It was just kind of as an asset to grow my business. And while that was fine and dandy, if I was wanting to grow on YouTube, that was a really bad idea, because I did not consistently give YouTube content. And consistency is so key. You've got to give YouTube content for the same reason that I talked about with niching. When you give YouTube consistent content, they then see you as relevant. They see you as, a solid brand or creator on the channel, and they will show your stuff more. If you are being inconsistent, they're going to be like, well, I don't want to show her video to these people, because these people are going to get annoyed that she doesn't have 6 other videos for them to watch. Or she's supposedly doing videos every Tuesday, but I've not seen one in the last few weeks, right? So it gives YouTube kind of this, like, it's kind of a credibility builder inside of YouTube's algorithm, that you're a consistent creator and that they can feel good about showing your content to people because you're going to consistently upload, right? And then also for the viewer, so again, it's like double-edged sword. You don't want to be inconsistent, because if somebody subscribes to you, on Monday, and they binge all of your content, because that happens, and you're like, oh, I release videos every Tuesday or Friday or whatever, and then you don't, or you never tell them when you're going to release a new video, it just happens, then it's really hard for them to kind of attach themselves and be a part of your community and feel like they want that next video from you. So consistency is key. And lastly, but possibly most important, I said SEO was really important, and it was, but this is probably the most important thing. I was drinking one of these on my live call the other day, and somebody was like, Bubbly needs to sponsor you. And I was like, yes, they do. Maybe I should at them with this video. Bubbly, sponsor me. Any hoobs, this is kind of a combo tip too. And it is to be super different, but also super you. Okay. So when we get started on any platform, YouTube, this one's not YouTube specific, but when we get started on any platform, it's really easy for us to be like, I like her, and I like her, and I like him, and I like her, and I'm going to be just like her or him, like try and emulate people that are not the same as us, or have a different personality than us, or are doing a completely different niche than us. And sometimes we get kind of stuck in that. Well, they're doing good, and I like that, and so I should do that. And when in all actuality, you should be different and you know? And so if you will be different, if you will set yourself apart from the competition in your niche, and you will show up unapologetically as you will win this game. People come for the content, but they stay for you. And that's the full facts of the matter. Like, someone may find you via a search they did, or you got served up to them on the homepage or whatever, but they're gonna stay for you. And so if your personality is like not coming across on camera, then you definitely need to make sure it is. And every time I say this about like being you and showing your personality, I get met with, but I feel like I'm boring. I feel like my content is boring, or I feel like I don't have the personality for camera. And that is absolutely not true. Like you don't have to be like, blah, to be a camera presence. You don't have to be crazy and wild. If you are awesome, that's you. That's your personality. That's your camera presence. You don't have to be anything to be on camera. You just have to be you on camera. And the people who enjoy your personality will follow. The people who don't will go follow somebody else, and that's okay. I feel like my personality did not come out in my YouTube videos for a very long time. Like when I was looking back through my YouTube channel and I was looking at some of my old videos, I feel like it was probably a solid 2 years, maybe a year and a half into my journey on YouTube before I fully let my personality go and like talked to the camera like I was talking to a friend and brought you guys in and like showed the crazy, right? Like I feel like it was a while before I did that. And that is what caused me to grow quicker than anything, is that people liked me. And if they don't like me, cool, then go find somebody else, that's fine. I wanna give you a little bonus tip, and this is one of those like, you didn't ask for it. This is not really what this video is about, but I feel like it comes up anytime I talk about being you on camera or being confident or like being on camera in general, as people are like, I don't feel confident on camera / I don't feel like my personality comes across on camera. And I have 2 tips for you on that. Number 1, talk to the camera like it's a friend. Like don't be any different in front of this camera in general than you would if somebody met you in real life. And I think that that's been something I have really focused on. And it's funny because I will meet people at conferences and they'll be like, hey, I follow you, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll be like, you're the exact same person in real life as you are on camera. And I'm like, well, thank the Lord for that, because I don't know how else to be, you know? Like I don't act any different. Like the me you're getting on camera is the me you would get at dinner with me, you know? Sometimes I think my personality is even more leveled up in person, and it can be hard to like be that way on camera because you feel a little crazy because you're talking to a camera. But pretend the camera is a friend. Don't think like you have to be different talking to this camera than you would if this camera represented someone you were talking to at dinner or at a conference or whatever. And then the second tip I have there is to exaggerate your personality when you are on camera. So I've always told people that you need to like up the intensity of your personality by like a solid 50, if not 100% on camera, because I swear it doesn't come off that way when people watch it. When people, like the camera removes a little bit of your personality. Like just imagine it like sucking personality out of your face, like broop. And so you want to up the level here on the other side so that the people behind the camera, the people that are watching your videos, are like, oh my gosh, I like this person. And I feel like I'm seeing a real interpretation of what their personality is. And when you meet them in real life, it all feels like it, you know, works together. You know, I never thought I would hit 100,000 subscribers, but I have, and I'm excited, and it's something I'm really proud of. And I'm also really thankful for you guys. I'm really thankful that you are here, that you did subscribe, that you have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And I'm really thankful for all of it, because I don't know where my business or my life would be without having had started this channel. And that sounds weird, but this has been the catalyst for growth for my business. This has been the catalyst for growth for speaking engagements. This has been the catalyst for meeting some really awesome people. And I'm just so thankful every day for the opportunity to be able to be a content creator on YouTube. And now that I've hit 100,000 subscribers, and really before I hit 100,000, it wasn't like I hit 100,000 and then I had an epiphany. It was way before. But I have realized that, like, I love this. And I'm a content creator at heart, and I always have been, and I always will be. And I'm learning more and more how to lean into that as just that being the business, not feeling like I have to make sure my YouTube channel like feeds all my funnels and like does the things. I can be okay with the content being the business. And so that's what is up in store for the next little bit here at the Hey Jessica HQ. And so if you're here for it and you're like, I want more of that, then please make sure you're subscribed. And also, if you haven't hit the little notification bell, do that, because that will send you a notification when I release a new video. Otherwise, you don't get one, and you have to come back in, you know, onto YouTube or on the app or whatever and refresh it. It's like a whole thing. So hit the notification bell. And also, and this is, oh my gosh, this is a total other tangent, but I had originally thought I was going to do Vlogmas, and but I didn't think of that till like 2 weeks ago. And when you're seeing this video, I would have to start Vlogmas next week. And that just seems like a little too close to time. But what I am going to be doing is increasing my upload schedule here on YouTube to 2 times a week. Again, I have done that in the past. I'm going back to it because I have some really awesome content coming your way, some different content, some of the same content. I don't know. I just got a lot coming to you. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you come back every single week, twice a week, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.